Hello and welcome back to Afterglow episode 24. And today we're going to talk about our first game on the PSP. Haven't done many handheld games here, if any, to be honest with you, but this one I wanted to talk about a bit. I had a good buddy who kind of went in with me to buy a PSP back in the day, and this is not the first game I got for it, but it is the second game I got for it. And I had a blast playing this in multiplayer. Never beat it. Still haven't beat it to this day, but did go back and play a little bit of it before I recorded this episode of the podcast. So we're going to take a quick music break. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the music in this game. The gameplay was like really fun back in the day, especially if you're playing multiplayer, but I wasn't a big fan of the music. That being said, we're going to still keep the music cut and the music outro in there because it's kind of a tradition here at this point, right? So, after the music cut, join me and we'll talk about Untold Legends. All right, welcome back. So, during the time that the PSP came out, like a few months before it came out, I was working a fairly new job, and it required a lot of traveling. Well, I went into a hotel with a laptop bag, and there was like one other dude there that came in with a laptop bag. We both looked at each other because we were factory workers that were doing traveling, doing parts inspection. So not many of us actually brought laptops with us. So we both kind of look at each other like, "Hey, fellow nerd, right?" So that's where me and my buddy met up. And a few months down the road, the PSP came out, and we're both like, "Hey, this is a really cool-looking handheld, and this would work great for us with all the traveling we do at work." So we both got one, right? Now, I actually got Twisted Metal Head On as my first game for the system. As you know, I do like some Twisted Metal, I'm sure you know from a previous episode of the show. But he brought up, "Hey, dude, you should really pick up this game called Untold Legends." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sure. We'll give it a shot." So I buy it, and I notice it plays a lot like a Diablo in a way. Uh, Kind of like an overhead view, and you're slashing baddies and picking up loot and equipping it and just grinding for better and better loot. That really, really enjoyed it. But the part of it that makes this game memorable to me is easily the multiplayer aspect. Like, I remember, I think it might have even been the night that I picked it up. We had both gone into work only to be told that we weren't needed that day. We could go home if we wanted to. So we both decided to quote unquote go home. Instead, we go to Walmart, and during this time period, Walmart's 24/7, right? Kind of miss 24/7 Walmart. I'll tell you what. Little side quest here, but I loved getting groceries and shopping at Walmart at 2, 3 in the morning when there's hardly anyone in there. Really miss those days because now you go in there and they're like always hammered. Anyway, we go in and I go ahead and grab a copy of the game. I believe, like right there, take it out to my vehicle. And he's like, "Hey, you got your PSP on you, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll go ahead and load it up. And we'll start up a multiplayer game." Okay, cool. So we start, of all places, like 2, 3 in the morning, middle of a Walmart parking lot. We're both sitting in our vehicles playing PSP. And I remember my battery was starting to get a little low, and I hopped in his car. He had like a split charger where we could both charge our systems, and it was a really, really fun experience. But the funniest memory of this game that I have is like we're playing. He's like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Watch out for the tree." I'm like, "Tree? What are you talking about?" Like, we're in a parking lot, dude. He's like, the tree, it's gonna come at you. And I see his character run past me on the screen. I'm like, I don't see a tree. And then you see this huge lumbering tree in the game coming at me, and like it like swipes at me once, takes like 3/4 of my health bar down. I'm like, oh God. He's like, I told you. Like just moments like that are like really, really entertaining. But easily like the funniest moment of the game. And another small memory, and this is before the whole tree thing, but in the beginning of the game, you're clearing out like a sewer area of a dungeon because, early role playing game, of course, you're going to be like killing rats and whatnot. So, confession time. I'm a little bit of an arachnophobe. Don't like spiders. I'm not saying I'm gonna like run squeeing from run, but I don't like them. I'm uncomfortable with them to the point to where whenever I play Skyrim, there's actually a no spider mod that you can install that changes all the spiders to bears, and I install that because while it's not like a horrible thing, playing Skyrim in first person, you start taking damage. You turn around, there's like a giant spider in your face. Well, makes me a little uncomfortable. So we turned on that no spider mod and turned them all in the bears. So anyway, he's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna like this boss coming up." I'm like, "What do you mean?" So there's this huge spider that takes up like the entire screen, and of course, I can handle it, but I'm like, "Oh, don't like it." But easily, probably like the biggest two memories I have of the game. I grinded it for a while, never actually beat it. Did go through a few areas, but like it's memorable for me to where back then the PSP only had like maybe 20, 30 games out for it, and this is the closest thing that there was on it to Diablo with a really good multiplayer experience with the whole bash and loot mechanic thing. That's what makes this game stand out to me so much. And I never played the sequels. I think that there was a sequel on the PSP, and then maybe another one on like the PlayStation 3. Didn't play those, but I did really enjoy the original for what it was. Of course, now you got your Steam Deck. You can go and play Diablo 1, 2, 3, or 4 on it, and get the authentic Diablo experience. But like for back then, if you wanted something to play that played like Diablo on the go, this was a really good option. And I really did enjoy it. But that's pretty well it, to be honest. This is going to be a shorter episode because, like I said, I've never actually beat the game. I do enjoy it. If you're like really, really addicted to that Diablo style and you're looking for more, you could do worse than to look at Untold Legends. Like it's not the pinnacle of Diablo. And if you want to play something like that, there's a series called Torchlight that I think is a lot better than even this would be. But for what it was back when it came out, like it scratched the itch, if you know what I mean. So thank you for listening. Like I said, a little bit of a shorter episode. Just wanted to share some memories I had with a friend of mine playing this game and just, having a blast with friends. It's kind of what gaming's all about in a way. But until then, I'll see you in the next Afterglow and enjoy the outro.